Hi everyone. Today we're going to be doing an overview of the game Vindication by Orange Nebula. In Vindication, the theme is that you are a wretched, guilt-ridden scumbag. You can see that actually on each of your player cards at the top. Well, you were kicked off your boat and now you're in an island and you're trying to gain these attributes here. You can see wisdom, knowledge, vision, strength, courage, and inspiration. And you're using those traits to get companions, relics, defeat monsters, and these traits here as well. So throughout the game, what you're going to be doing, by the way, this setup that I have going right here is all determined by these journey cards that you can see right here. So purple player here is setting up on space 5, and they get a traveler. They meet a traveler of yellow attribute. So this is themed to be the person that rescued you when you were washed ashore, when you were kicked off your ship for being a wretched, guilt-ridden scumbag. So that is going to be the setup for everybody. They're going to get one of these cards. The green player, for instance, washed up on space 9. And the traveler that discovered the green player is a red companion card. Here they are. So going back to the board, we see green player right here. These two tiles are revealed because they come on this hex right here at 9. So they can view these two tiles. The same with the purple player. They come on space 5. And they can see these two tiles. These two tiles, or these 4 tiles, I should say, were pulled from this bag randomly. So on your action, the purple player could do a variety of things. The 3 actions that you're going to take generally are activate, move, and visit. But you can also activate, move, rest. So to activate, you look at your person here or your companion here, and you choose to activate either one of them. If you activate your actual person, you can get any of these attributes here. If you activate your companion, you get this attribute along with this ability for that round. So let's do our actual person. What we do is we spend influence. So we have a board here: potential, influence, conviction. Influence is considered like a currency that you can actually use to do most of the actions in the game. So here, if I activate this, my person, I can put 1 influence on any of these tracks: blue, yellow, or red. So let's say I go for yellow. I put a cube there, and that is activation. I don't have to do anything else if I use my actual person. However, if I use my companion, I do have to spend an influence to activate them. So that will stay on the card. So it kind of uses your influence, but there is ways to mitigate a shortage of influence. So I activated. Next, I can move. So purple player can move. They use these triangles as opposed to the big hexes to move, so they can move up to 2 spaces based on their saddle here, which you can upgrade in the game. So when they move, you notice there's 2 empty tiles here, so I'm just going to draw 2 from the bag and place them out. There we go. And now I can visit any 3 of these tiles because I'm adjacent to them. So let's say, in this case, I might not want to visit these in particular, but let's say I visited this one. I will lose 1 blue, and this means I can augment. So here's what I was talking about mitigating this board here. So unfortunately, I only have 1 blue, but I could have activated my leader had I known that tile was going to come out. So let's say I did that. Let's say I activated my guy. Instead of yellow, I decided blue. Now I can spend as many blue as I want. So one blue as many times as I want. I'm gonna spend it twice to move exactly what you would think. You have the 3 spheres, you can move them in different ways. So these go back to my influence board, and now I can move around these cubes. So I can take my potential and move them over to my influence. Alternatively, I can move them over to my conviction. And I'll explain why you might want to do that as well. But since this is the start of the game, you're generally going to want more influence. So I'm going to go do that. Because we already start with 2 conviction. So that was moving, and then it was also visiting. So those are the 3 main actions you're going to do in this game. As a bonus action, I could control a region. To do that, I spend conviction. And when I control a region, I make sure that it is the place I actually visited. If you didn't visit that region, you cannot control it, period. So if I want to control a region this turn, it would have to be this one. I would get 2 victory points, which is tracked around the board right here. So a purple player gets 1, 2. And now they control that region. And if anyone visits this region right here, the purple player will get 2 victory points. I believe they call them honor in this game. Just to go over a couple spaces that did come out. This is where you actually upgrade your saddle. So you can see you spend strength. So these are all symbolic and colored. So if you're colorblind, no big deal because they all have symbols on them. So you can tell that it will take 3 strength to upgrade your saddle. That symbol for the horse right there is found on your movement. So if you did that and spent 3 strength, you upgrade to a 3 movement and you get 3 victory points. All right, so other actions you can do as bonus. You can gain a proficiency. These are down here. You would spend 3 cubes of the color to gain this proficiency. The only real value of this is that at the end of the game, this will count as 2 green cards in this instance. That means that you would get a mastery token if you have the most of any color. And you can see those are victory points in the game. So that is another way to score points at the end of the game, is to gain these proficiency tiles. You could also vindicate yourself. To vindicate yourself, you would have to have this field right here, potential, exhausted. You cannot have any cubes there. You would also have to meet a certain threshold as a victory point, which is a lot easier than exhausting this. So what you would do is flip this to the vindicated side. Your actual player gets more powerful. You can see now that you can get 2 influence on these fields, and you immediately get 5 victory points. The last bonus action you can do, well, let's actually go back. There are 2 more, because one of them is pretty simple. So these are heroic actions: courage, wisdom, and vision. Those are harder to get than the basic ones that give you companions. So you could, I believe they call it augment or just convert. I believe they just call it convert, because augment is something else. So we can convert adjacent attributes, which would be in, if I want to go to the courage space, I can take one of my purple and put it here, take one of these away. So I combined these 1 and 1 to make 1 here. And this always just goes back to my influence. Now I have a cube here. This area is good for fighting monsters. This one for getting different relics. And this one for getting traits. Those cards here are more powerful. They give you more points. They do more things during the game or at the end of the game than the companions do. So they're slightly harder to get. Let's see. So here this is where you buy the other basic cards. These companions. This is called the inn. So you can spend 2 yellow to get the yellow companion, which is inspiration. You can either take the card facing up, or you can top deck and just draw whatever you get. And those will be your companions for fights and different things. To fight a monster, there is a tile that is just specific for monster, and you will see the courage on there. To do a monster fight, you're always going to win, so that makes it pretty easy. So if I were to fight this monster, and alternatively, I could top deck a card just like I always can, I would get 5 victory points, and at the end of the game, I would gain 2 honor for each of my wisdom on the board, which is the green. So I would defeat this monster, get my 5 victory points, then I would roll 2 dice. Here are the 2 dice in the standard game. First, we can look at this one. This is where the bad things happen, where you might end up killing your companion, you might end up missing, and you might end up spending 2 influence on a companion, which obviously isn't good either. This is something that will help you. You will roll this and get a influence on whatever you roll, so you'll get a free item. Also in the game, we can see our end game triggers. We start with 2. You're gonna get more as the game goes on, because every time you hit these coins right here at 15 VP, another end game trigger is revealed. The game will end when after the next round, when one of these has been accomplished. So it's a variable end game. You also have quests that I haven't talked about. At the beginning of the game, you're gonna have 2 of these quests, and you get to pick one, and they're gonna give you victory points. And the other one gets discarded. And I think that is a pretty good overview of what you're doing in this game. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.